Welcome back. Let's talk about Rivers politics. It's been a journey since 2023 presidential governorship elections, and things escalated undercurrents to what it is right now. There were all kinds of things that happened to where we are, from, division in the House of Assembly to defection, and whether it wasn't defection, to issue a presentation of the budget. The number of litigation that has to do with Rivers politics, I don't even know whether the litigants can even remember all of it, but that's the challenge with the political scenario in that state. But the Supreme Court has made some pronouncement that is bringing a bit of clarity as to going forward. One of which is the Supreme Court has said it recognizes that the governor should represent the budget to the Amiwule House of Assembly, River State House of Assembly. It has to do that. And also, the Supreme Court has also nullified the election that held on October the 30th. And the governor has now responded to say, I'm going to obey all of this. As for instance, he said, when it comes to the local government councils, well, the one that are substantive, you'll be nullified, so head of council should take charge. But he's going to study the judgment today and revert as to other forms of implementation. That's why we have this gentleman joining us to make sense of the situation. Mr. Chibike Ikenga is an APC chieftain. He joins us via Zoom. Mr. Ikenga, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm the APC Publicity Secretary in Rivers State, please.
All right, Mr. Ikenga, let's get straight to the conversation. I wonder what you mean. Okay, we also have joining us from our Abuja studios, Ambassador God knows Igali. He's the national chairman of PANDEF. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me start with you, Mr. Ikenga, who is right there in Rivers State. First, maybe you tell us the mood of the city this morning, as well as what you make of the governor's response to the Supreme Court decision and judgment.
Okay, thank you for having me once again. Thank you, viewers. The state is calm. This had long been expected. As a party, we did ask that rule of law must be respected, and that rule of the law guarantees stability, peace, and development. And you are aware, I don't want to bore you and viewers with some of the challenges we had as a result of some of the overreaching decisions taken by the executive arm of the government in the state in trying to stop another arm of government, particularly the Rivers State House of Assembly under Martins Amiwule. All that now have been put behind us, as the Supreme Court had rightly intervened, as it is expected constitutionally, to ensure that it interprets sections of the Constitution where disagreements occur. So the state is happy, the citizens are calm, everybody is happy. Now we believe that the development of the state will be put forward. And then we are happy to hear, as a party, that the governor, when he made statements yesterday, was going to implement without reservations the decisions of the Supreme Court. That is expected, and that will help us continue our development drive in the state.
Okay, so let me bring it to you, Mr. Gale. Maybe similar question, but I know that there are other decisions as well. The issue that has to defection itself has not been ruled on by the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court has made statement as to other issues as well. But what would be your initial reaction to the governor's response to this particular issue?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Gali, that's for you.
From the point of view of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, we being the apex socio-political body in the South-South, is for us to call for calm, and that's the same thing that the governor has done, to join him to call for calm, particularly among our young people. Many people were surprised at the judgment, but then the Supreme Court has exercised its constitutional responsibilities, and us, as a neutral arbiter, is to call all parties to exercise, be calm, observe the laws, and let's see the way forward, that there can be amicable settlement of these issues. And you've not asked me, but let me mention that PANDEF has been on the issue of peace outside the court process, and when the opportunity comes, I'll elaborate further on that.
Supreme Court ruling, particularly on River State FAC allocation. I'd like you to speak further on that. What are you looking out to get? Well, the governor has since spoken, so are you still seeking that review? And that's for you, Mr. Ominini, this one. Please go ahead, Mr. Obi.
That's we practice, and that is the what we see in our country. There's a lot of dependence on federal allocations to run the whole process of governance, particularly social services. And we know that it's not that it's the first time it has happened in the history of judicial pronouncements in Nigeria, but we know that the Supreme Court has always been very careful. It is in extreme cases that issues of withholding of allocations have been ruled upon. And that is because it has a lot of implication as it affects the livelihood of the ordinary citizens. It could create a situation where the particular subnational entity is not able to perform its duties and could create social upheaval. Health sector, hospitals need all forms of medication. Even newborn babies need to be taken care of. The old, the vulnerable need to be cared for. Our schools, public sanitation and services. So anything that withholds financial resources that goes to states is a very serious matter. And we felt worried, and there were a lot of calls and a lot of requests on that. Hence our appeal to the Supreme Court that when the opportunity creates itself to look at this matter again, and let it be made clear that it's not, there's nothing that is cast in stone. If we look at the history of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, there have been cases where the court has had to look back again, regurgitate on some of its decisions, particularly where the overall social impact is pervasive and it is punitive. So we hold on to that because Rivers State is a very important state. Being in the heart, we consider the capital of the South-South, and it is out of the oil belt, which contributes significantly to the national income. Therefore, anything that to create social upheaval in Rivers State is of concern. And that was the gravamen, that was the basis of our appeal for some reversal and consideration of the matter.
All right, thank you, Ambassador Gali. Let me go to Mr. Kenga now. I wonder if you're with him on that point, particularly for the people of the state, because at the end of the day, the people may feel the brunt the most, right? And that's on the one hand. Would you seek a review in that sense? Do you see that affecting the lot of the governed in River State? And on the other side, is some of the pronouncements that the Supreme Court made, particularly with the demolition of the River State House of Assembly complex by the governor in the court's ruling, saying it's an act of indiscipline bordering on the excessive use of executive might to frustrate the sitting of the assembly led by Amewule. I wonder if your party now is happy that at least the 27 members whom we saw, at least in that video, declaring that they're in your party now. Is your party excited that they're going to get some sort of redress in this one?
Okay, thank you. With utmost respect to Ambassador Igali, I want to completely disagree with him when he said it was they were contemplating, or rather they were appealing to the Supreme Court to resign their position or take another move. That's not correct. Supreme Court gave a condition, and the condition precedent is what I expected Ambassador Igali to speak about. Supreme Court did say that allocations are withheld pending when the governor submits the budget to the Rivers State House of Assembly as led by Right Honorable Martin Amewule. He carefully dodged that because that's a contentious issue. The issue is that once the budget is presented to the properly constituted and legally recognized House of Assembly under Martin Amewule, then the issue of revenue allocation, that a seizure, will be a thing of the past. So I advise him to speak with the governor and his team to ensure that the proper things are done. So we move from here. You would recall that we have had challenges about the impunity, about the rascality, about the lack of due processes, about disrespect for court rulings, disrespect for court orders, and even judgments. So I expected that Ambassador Igane, a respected Niger Delta leader, should speak to those issues. You know, issues about demolition of the House of Assembly to stop the arm of government from performing. He did not speak to those issues. So let those issues, particularly the presentation of the budget, be addressed. And once it is addressed, it is uhuru for Rivers people. These issues, particularly the seizure of this our location, was very avoidable. If the governor and his team had listened to all that we said about it, that he was treading on a path that was going to create crisis for Rivers people. And here we are. Supreme Court had validated all the facts that we presented to the public, that Martin Samewule, Right Honorable, is the Speaker of the House of Assembly. And two, that the governor was overreaching in his decisions, working against his own oath of office and oath of allegiance. These are the issues. And to speak to defection, we had said publicly, severally, the fact that the members of Rivers State House of Assembly under Right Honorable Martin Samewule indicated interest in the pursuit of the policies and programs of the Tinubu-led administration of APC, the Renewed Hope agenda, that they are happy with the way things are happening. And even if they indicated interest in joining our party, assuming without considering they did so, there are procedures for joining a party. They have not consummated any of them, and they are not members of our party as at today. So if tomorrow they intend to join our party, that's a different kettle of fish altogether. As we speak, they are not registered in our party in any of the wards. Their names are not in our register. Neither have we issued them the membership card of the party. So they're not members of our party. And we did congresses in the last 2 months. They did not participate. PDP did their own congresses. You saw them very visible in participating in their own congresses. So as a party, we are not aware that they are members of our party, as they are not registered members of this party. So generally, we believe that when the proper things are done, Rivers people will be happier. They'll be happier because they have been denied good governance because of this instability, this crisis. They have been denied all the gains they would have made in terms of development. And with this intervention of the Supreme Court, we believe, like the governor just said yesterday, we're happy with that. I was going to implement it in total. The governor did not say that he was asking for a review of the position, so I'll be surprised to hear that from Ambassador Gali. More so, a respected Ambassador Gali is not from Rivers State. He's from Bayelsa State. So right, we are the people who are here in Rivers State, and we respect him as a leader. But he cannot begin to say that he's asking the Supreme Court to do so. The governor has not said so. He should ask the governor to do the needful.
All right, Mr. Ekenga, I'm going to stay with you for a moment. Then we'll go to Ambassador Gali to respond to all of that. The things you said, responding to his own comments. Well, there's a question I want to build up to, but we know, not just you, Mr. Tony Okocha has also said that these gentlemen are not members of your party. We'll leave that to the determination of the Supreme Court. Because people always pull out that video of Amewule, Right Honorable, reading Dumle Mao's saying that he's going to leave the party on the premise of the division in the PDP because of Samayanwu's position, and I think he read other letters as well. But whether he consummated that process is another kettle of fish, as you've said. But let's talk about what concerns APC directly in this whole matter. This has to do with the decision of Justice Peter Lifu, which was overturned at the Court of Appeal and now upheld by the Supreme Court. Now that the governor has said, look, local government chairman, your time is up. Head of local councils, you take charge until the local government elections are organized. Is the APC now going to take part in the elections that will be coming up whenever it comes up? And why?
Okay, thank you. I think APC went to court challenging the purported local government elections. We believe at that time that the local government elections that was put in place by the Rivers State Independent Commission did not comply with the Electoral Act and the Rivers State local government laws. So this being the issue, we went to court and challenged it, and we got judgment. So they went to Court of Appeal, and it was set aside, and Supreme Court had validated it, that our position ab initio had been right. So that being the case, we will participate in any legally organized local government elections in Rivers State. Once the due processes of local government elections are followed, APC will participate properly and we will win the elections because we have the people, because we are more organized, because PDP is in tatters, because PDP has challenges. That is the reason why PDP could not even participate in the elections, because they had challenges and their challenges are still up to date. So we will win the elections once it is properly organized.
I was asking about participation because I know that even the APC is a divided house. There's a Court of Appeal, I think, is it Court of Appeal or Supreme Court? I can't remember where it is. As to the status of Okocha versus that of Mika Bike. But let's get back to Ambassador Gali. Ambassador Gali, Mr. Kenga has made some statement disagreeing with your position. I'm wondering if you have a response to that effect. And what would you expect the governor to do as far as this issue is concerned?
Before I respond to your question, Mr. Kenga, let me say this. I'm not here. You mentioned that I'm from Bayelsa. Yes, I am from Bayelsa, but I'm also the leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, which is the apex body of the people of the Niger Delta. And one of our main concerns is peace and stability in the region, like similar bodies such as Arewas or Ndigbo or Alfenefere. And in that, under that platform, we've been working on the issue of peace. We are dispassionate. We have totally, we don't take side on this matter. Our interest is to see that peace returns to Rivers State. So the issue of you raising maybe a red flag from Bayelsa is a little bit surprising. Let me say also that when we started the peace process, there were very sharp views from people like you, political actors, very active in this matter with respect to anybody in, trying to take part or mediating in bringing peace. Issues come up all over Nigeria, and elder statesmen or organizations like these come in to mediate, to arbitrate, and to make peace. We have a committee of mediation, committee of what we call peace and reconciliation in Niger Delta, led by 7 very senior people, made up of 7 senior people, led by Obong Victor Atta, the former governor of state. And the rest are there are 3 former governors and some very ranking politicians. And Mr. Kenga, maybe to your knowledge, let me mention, they've achieved a lot of milestones. We've met with all the 2 sides and meetings are going on. We are hoping that by the end of the day, despite the judicial processes, we'll have an amicable solution that will please everybody. We all grew up in Port Harcourt, and Rivers State is very critical. We are the same people. We will always meet after the judgments of courts and all the court processes. And that's why PANDEF, as the leading body, is making this effort. So please don't feel uncomfortable. The other members include a former governor from Cross River State, a former governor from Bayelsa State, and from Edo State, from Cross River State, and so on. So this is the object of what we are doing. And what I said specifically was the fact that PANDEF was concerned because as a body of this nature, we received a lot of copious information. And we are happy that the governor said he will carry out every decision of the court, which is quite welcoming. And we join other voices to sue for peace. And we add our voices to call all sides to take it easy. For example, people like you, I think you should mellow down on some of your public utterances from groups like you, because by the end of the day, it should be a win-win for Rivers people. And I appeal to not only you, but to other people who are politically very active in this process from both.
Oh, there. Maybe a bit of network glitch there. But we're totally out of time, coincidentally. But I must thank you both gentlemen for coming on the program. We are looking at what is going to play out today with the responses, as far as the governor has said. He said he's going to implement this. Eyes are also on the local government council as to what is playing out. But the idea is that everybody should sue for peace, whichever side you belong to. So let's thank you both, Ambassador Godknows Ighali, National Chairman of PANDEF, and former Special Advisor to former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former President Umaru Yar'Adua. Also, an APC Chieftain, Chibike Ikenga, joining us via Zoom from Port Harcourt. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate it. And let River State enjoy peace.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it. So on this, we'll move away from going to carry the made in Rivers politics to other parts of the conversation. This time it's going to be a lot of talking with women, both in business, who are writers, who are creatives. It's going to be fun. It's a Women's Month, so let's have the best of it. Join us in just a minute.